Okay, guys, today I am so excited because one of my favorite YouTubers is here with me, and her name is Beth. And hi, Beth. Okay, and if you could introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Sure, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me, Jen. This is so much fun. My name is Beth, and my YouTube channel is called Beth's Best Hair. When I started that channel, I didn't realize that that would be hard to say and that that would be a tongue twister. So you can say BB hair. And I'm filming in my bathroom. My grandson might be here behind me sneaking a peek. It happens.
I love it.
So I review wigs on my channel, and I also do some plus size clothing as well. But I started my channel reviewing wigs.
And you do such a phenomenal job. I had no idea that wigs could look like what you look like. I mean, you don't look like that's a wig at all. And I thought it was so refreshing because my podcast is Fabulous Over 50, right? So, and I've got a lot of people in
Yeah.
their 80s that listen, and thinning hair is a thing. And I thought, if I could share with them that they could look like you, oh my goodness, it would be so wonderful. So how did
Oh,
you decide that you were gonna wear wigs?
well, I have struggled with the thinning hair, like you said, my whole life. Finding out then eventually that I had androgenic alopecia, essentially female pattern hair loss. Mine started with a bald spot, I call it, right at the top in my 20s. And but I had so much hair, and I was always able to cover it just by parting on the side or whatever. But it just continued to get worse, and I felt really intimidated and inferior about it because I started to notice that the sun was shining. I didn't want people. I felt like people were just staring right there. And I finally found these topics, which are hair fibers, in my 40s. And I had started wearing hair extensions, which didn't really help here. But what I would do is I would wear my hair in a messy bun and I would put the topics on. And it would take me a long time to get ready in the morning. And that was in my 40s. And then in my 50s, or right when I turned 50, I was like, this is just really getting ridiculous. That was in 2019. And I bought a topper, but the topper didn't work because you have to have bio hair to blend. And so I never could get it to blend right. And then 2020 rolled around and we were in a lot of Zoom meetings, and I could really see all the way through. And for me, it felt like you could see right down to my soul. And I did not like that feeling at all. And I felt like I was losing my personality because I was so afraid and intimidated about my hair. And so I just started watching YouTube videos. Then I knew I had to do something. And thankfully there are a lot of reviewers out on YouTube that really helped me. And I watched I'm trying to think of the names. So Jillian Beauty was one, and I also Daily Dazzle and Dawn Stamper was another one that I watched, and she played with her wigs and had fun. So for about 6 months, I watched videos until finally I bought my first wig in September of 2020.
And, I love because on your channel, you will take off the wig
Hmm.
and people can see what you look like without the wig. And the first time I saw you do that, I was floored, and not in a bad, but just I thought it was so incredibly genuine that you were willing to do that and let
Hmm.
other women see, hey, you're not alone. I'm here
Right.
with you. I'm here with you. And I think that's the thing about your channel specifically, because I watch a few and everyone's wonderful. I mean, there's no negative to say, but there's just something where you're just like, look, I'm not a professional. I just, and you're cutting the hair and you're saying you can play with it and you can do the things and it's empowering. I feel like, that feeling you were saying you had of people seeing through your soul because they're missing hair. And then look at you now. Like it's incredible, isn't it?
It
So
really is. It really changed my life. It definitely gave me back my personality. I gave me like I feel like you don't have confidence until you do the thing that makes you afraid. And once you do that and you realize you came out okay on the other side, you keep doing it and you keep building your confidence. And that's how wigs have been for me. And it wasn't long after that. I started in September of 2020 with my first Polly Young wig, which was Ashley. And that was just a cute little bob. And a lot of people will say, well, maybe start with a similar color, a similar length. So I tried to do that. And I went with a little bit shorter because I thought people might just think I cut my hair. And so I remember getting the tracking information. I was at work and I couldn't wait to run home and put it on and play with it. And I was like, I put it on and it was like, wow. And I started taking selfies, which I've never taken a selfie before. And I sent pictures to my sisters, and my oldest daughter, my youngest daughter was here. And they were all like, wow, that looks like your hair. So the very next day I wore it to work. And I thought, well, if anybody says anything, I'll just, I don't know, I'll just cross that bridge when I get to it. And it was kind of like I walked in, I'm like, pep talk, just own the place, just own the room. And so I had to pull that confidence out of me. And I did. And people were like, oh my gosh, I love your haircut. Wow, it looks so cute. And not once did anybody ever think it was a wig. And, I'm in a cubicle because I work in an office. People came in and I had to do the spin and they had to see all the way around. And I'm like, oh my God. And nobody ever asked me where I got it cut, anything like that. And I was just like, yeah, I thought it was time for new hair. And I just left it at that. And
Wow.
that was it. And I started, of course, telling more people as I got on and telling some of my closer friends at work. And I joined some support groups. Then in April of 21, it was, that's when I started my YouTube channel because I had a lot of people in support groups ask me, how do you make it look so natural? What do you do? You don't just get a new wig, take it out of the box, put it on your head. You can't just walk out the door like that because it's probably going to look like it's a wig. So I started recording videos, and that's when I started my YouTube channel in April of 21, and just showing people this is a brand new wig out of the box. Let's open it up. This is what we're going to do, and just show them exactly, kind of step by step. And that was really how I started.
It's incredible. And to watch you. I don't know. I love the way you present it. Again, it's just it's so cool. And to watch what you do because I said people would have no idea. If they ordered one, they'd put it on and think, "Oh, this is horrible. It looks like, it's been in the
Yes.
box," and put it back and ship it back, right? But you I don't know, somehow in 5 minutes, you make it look like the hair that's grown out of your head for your whole life. It is so amazing. So did someone show you or did you just learn from YouTube?
I watched YouTube videos, and the people who looked good played with their wigs. And I noticed there was a little bit of a difference where I actually was watching a lot of videos of women of color because they were fearless in styling their wigs. And so I would watch a lot of them as well. And Tia Maria is one of my favorites. And I saw what they could do with, really, like you said, almost amazing what you can do. And I thought, well, I can do that. And really, that's really simple. It's just a matter of shaking, maybe a little dry shampoo, comb it out, brush it out, play with it a little bit, have fun. And so that's that's really what I did. And then it got to be really fun, of course, because it was like I had my hair again.
Right. Is it a little addictive to get different ones and see what they look like?
Well, I was just looking at my channel and I see that I have over 400 videos on my channel. So I'm guessing that, yeah, maybe it is a little bit addictive. And I just started reviewing the wigs that I was buying for myself. And then in July of 21, so just about a couple months after I had started my channel, I thought, well, maybe I should reach out to some of these wig companies and let them know what I'm doing. And so, of course, I sent them a message through Instagram because I was buying their wigs. I love their wigs. They're very affordable. They're very budget friendly. We're all on a budget if we're average, hardworking Americans, right? And I thought, well, I have to have hair, but I need to be able to afford hair. And I don't want to just have one wig. I want to have multiple options. And so I reached out to Paula Young and I said, hey, I have this channel and I would love to do some form of a collaboration. If you're interested in all that, I could review your wigs. And I sent them some links of a few videos that I had done, and lo and behold, they contacted me, and whoever was managing their Instagram page at the time moved it up the chain until the VP of brand management and marketing called me, and she said that the CEO would like me to be their brand ambassador. And
Wow,
she's
that's huge.
like, we've never had a brand ambassador. This is a big deal, but we love what you do, and we love how real you are and how natural you are and how you speak to the everyday woman. And so we kind of went back and forth on a contract, and I kind of started with a trial of 6 videos, and they liked it. And today I am still working as their brand ambassador. So it's pretty cool.
So exciting. Yeah. So let's talk about price because, most people have no idea about price. And so when I started watching your videos, I started looking. Oh my goodness. I mean, there's some that are like four and $5,000. It's
Oh,
crazy. And then
absolutely.
somebody on another channel, somebody was saying wigs only last 2 or 3 months. And I thought, well, that can't be right. So what's the lowdown on price?
Sure. So the lowdown on price, let's start with, there's so many different factors that create the price, obviously. So I'm wearing a synthetic wig, and synthetic fibers are going to be less expensive than a human hair wig. And I'm fine with that because there's so many pluses with synthetic wigs because they hold their style. If I order a curly wig, I can wear it, I can wash it, and it's still going to be curly and look exactly the same. So I love synthetic. The other thing would be cap features. There's what we call a basic cap. Then there's maybe a lace front. Then maybe there's a lace front and a mono part, or maybe completely hand tied where each fiber is individually hand tied into the lace cap. And then that creates even more movement, but that also brings the price up. And a name like Raquel Welch is going to bring a price up. So Raquel Welch obviously has a brand of wigs. So those are going to be more expensive because they're a Raquel Welch. Paula Young is a company with their whole team of designers. So they're creating their own designs, and those are they're all being made in the same factories, but they have such a high volume. They're creating new stuff all the time. So essentially, I feel like it's almost like we're buying factory direct from them, even though they're not the factory, but they're the designer.
And
So
so what would their average wig price be?
they have wigs as low as $39.99.
Wow.
And that they had wigs, they have been a company for 40 years. They've been in business for 40 years. They were selling wigs for $39.99 40 years ago, and they still do. But you can go all the way up, and they do sell some human hair wigs, and you can go up into the 200s for human hair wigs. But I would say probably their sweet spot is around $79.99 or under for wigs. I mean, it's amazing.
Is it
And
yeah, because
then
oh, go ahead. Yeah.
and then there's discounts. So as a brand ambassador, they've given me a discount code, and maybe you can link that. It's
I will. I'll have it in the
BPH20.
description. Absolutely.
Yeah, and so then that gives everybody another 20% off of their wig. So the $79.99, you get 20% off of that. So you really can't go wrong, and I just think it's wonderful. They're always giving you deals like that, and there aren't any other companies that do that.
Well, and I
So
went to
it's,
look at extensions, and they wanted $800 to do extension.
oh, oh,
And
definitely.
then
Yeah.
but then that's not a one-shot deal, right? You're going, and then, like you said, if you have an issue in the front, then that's a whole other thing because you can't put extensions on what's not there. And this is such a more viable option, I think, for people.
Yes, yes, definitely. And I started just with the premise that I really want to help people that were struggling like me because I struggled for years feeling self conscious about my hair. I mean, decades. And I thought if I can help even just one person, it was kind of scary to, like you said, a 50 plus year old woman, plus size woman, to put yourself out on the internet was kind of a scary thing. But the feedback has been phenomenal. And women, especially, really appreciate it because I think they can see themselves in me and they can relate. And, I just knew when I put it on and I went to work that first day and I got such positive feedback, I knew then, like, everything is going to be okay. I knew I was never going to go back. Absolutely not. I never looked back.
Well, yeah, and when we were talking the other day, you were saying that other people are responding to you differently as well.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I do think so. And we were saying, even like men, even like walking into a gas station and somebody holding the door for you, never happened. At least it didn't happen for at least the last 20 years. Now that happens quite frequently. Or hi, how are you? Or engaging in conversation, which didn't happen before. And I was always an outgoing person, but I kind of hid because I felt inferior about my hair, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. It's funny. I was talking with my sister-in-law. She was here with her girls and they were saying, "But what is the big deal about thinning hair and what difference does it make if you're a woman and you don't have a lot of hair?" And it does though. It's when we're especially when we're younger, that's our identity. And we're
Yes.
80s girls, right? I
Yeah.
mean, hair, that was it, right? The big
Big
hair
hairband,
and the
baby.
whole
Yep.
thing. Right? And so when you lose the ability to create what it's like it's part of yourself. It really is. And so to be able to get
Yes.
that back is incredible.
Amazing. And I think especially for women, hair loss is hard because I think that women, we're already under a microscope as it is. If just look at the double standard even in the industry of on TV where men, oh, they're distinguished as they get older, but then the women, oh, look at her wrinkles, look at her gray hair. It's just constantly pick, pick, pick. And so, absolutely, when you work in a professional environment and I'm in the public all the time, I want to make sure that I am projecting on the outside the way that I feel on the inside. And I can't do that if I don't have hair on my head. And it's just unfortunate, but that's the way society looks at women.
Yeah. We had and when we lived in Pennsylvania, there was a girl in our youth group who was 6 and she had alopecia and she was completely
Yeah.
bald at 6. And
Yeah.
back then, but that was 20 years ago, right? So
Mhm.
there weren't these options. The wigs were those, gray, curly, whatever, or really uncomfortable. How
Golden girls.
comfortable
Yeah.
are all the wigs that you're wearing? Do they bother you?
It doesn't bother me. I kind of say it's like wearing a hat on your head. If you feel like you're wearing a hat on your head, that's to me what a wig feels like. Feels like you're wearing a hat. As now, I've been wearing wigs since 2020, so for 4 years. So for me now, no, I don't notice it. Um, Sometimes I think I have gotten a wig where maybe it's a little bit large because you do have to think about like the size of the circumference of your head. So there are little things to consider. And so I want to encourage any women out there that are thinking about wigs, watch videos on YouTube, on Instagram, on people that can help you and answer those questions. Like I have playlists on my channel and I have a new wig wearer series playlist. So you kind of know what you need to do in order to start wearing a wig. There's a little bit of a learning curve, sure, but it's a pretty short learning curve and then you feel pretty confident.
Do you feel like it's gonna just fly off your head sometimes, or do you feel like they're secure and they're gonna stay on? I know a lot of people talk about that.
No, not at all. Now I wear a wig grip cap underneath, and I don't have one out here to show you, but so I wear a velvet wig grip. and it has kind of an attached little like wig cap to it. And so what the velveteen does is it stops the wig from like the wig's not gonna move. It could I've been outside in 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and my wig doesn't come off my head.
And you said something in one of your videos about all the things you can do with a wig that I think would shock people really, because one of them involves water.
Yes, and I love swimming, and we have a beautiful beach here. I have a 10-year-old grandson, so we like to go to the beach a lot. And I just have a floaty, and I love to go out and float, or dip your head in the water. Guess what? You can wear a wig and you can go underwater, and it's just fine because the beautiful thing on the synthetic wig, it's gonna dry looking the same. I mean, you might have to run a comb through it after it dries, but your style is still there. I mean, usually I will wear a little older one and a little bit of a shorter one, and I'll twist it up in a claw clip. And I kind of attach the claw clip to the weft of the wig, and I go and I have fun and I don't think about it. I go kayaking, I go swimming, I go hiking. I don't think about it. It's just so much fun.
That's I think and that would be the piece that I think a lot of people would scare people, right? Because if I can't have it when I do certain things, I can't go out in public at all. But there is one thing people should not do with a wig, and it's something that I actually caught my real hair on fire doing, the
Oh,
night before my wedding. We had our engagement party at our house because I had 4 children, my husband had 1, and so, it was more, low key, and we were gonna grill, and I had never grilled, and I went out there and I flipped my head up, and literally the edges of my entire
oh my
head
goodness.
was aflame, and I was so fortunate because it was just the tips, and because I had long hair, and I just trimmed the tips, and it was still there, because I can't
Oh,
imagine having gone bald the night before my wedding. But you did a video about grilling. What can happen
yes.
if people get close to heat?
So if you're wearing a synthetic wig, synthetic fibers are plastic, very fine, so it looks and moves like real hair, right? But you have to remember that. So heat can damage them. Some wigs are heat styleable. The one I'm wearing is actually heat styleable up to 350 degrees. So if I have company and I don't have the option of going no wig, I will wear a heat friendly wig that I twist up in a claw clip so I don't have any hair out. And typically I'll ask somebody else to do the grilling. But if I had to do it myself, that's what I would do if I had company and I had to wear a wig. And like for the holidays, what I have done, I'm working in the kitchen, you think about like steam, because what can happen is it can kind of fry your wig where you get like the little curly cues. Um, or even like singe the ends. So at Thanksgiving, I just wore a shorter bob, and then I was able to still cook all the foods. I don't stand right in front of the oven door when it opens. We don't want that blast of heat. I stand off to the side. I open it, let the heat come out, then get my dish out.
Very cool. Yeah, I try to remember to do that anyway because it always yeah, my glasses get all steamy and
Yeah,
everything,
or like the
you know?
dishwasher. Yes.
So, yeah. Okay. So what is there anything else that people should know if they're interested? What's a good way to dip your toes in the water of wigs, so to speak?
To dip your toes in the water of wigs, I would say just do it. Just try it. Um, because what do you have to lose? And so watch videos though, educate yourself. Definitely educate yourself. I probably went overboard. I watched videos on the daily for 6 months until when I got my wig, I knew exactly what to do. But you don't have to do that. You can dip your toes. I would say wear a wig grip so you know your wig's not going to move, and kind of understand what features do you want. When they say basic cap, that means it doesn't have a lace front. When they say lace front, that means there is a lace here that is going to blend into your skin so it looks like your hairline. And then if you wanted to do like styling off your face, partially up, you can. There's still a little bit of a learning curve with that, but kind of understand the wig caps, watch videos, and look at the styles. Maybe don't go for Beyonce hair initially, you know, but you can if you want to do it just for fun. And like for me, I actually have wigs for occasion. I'll have wigs for an upcoming wedding. I want to wear this wig for the wedding. So I do that. Sometimes I'll get a longer, more beautiful, more voluptuous wig for maybe date night with my husband. So, but maybe on the daily, I'll keep it this length or shorter.
And if they wanna try a wig, they can use your code, save
Discount code.
20%, and then could they, say, order a few different ones and return some if they don't just
Yes.
don't work?
Yeah. So when you get a new wig and it's in the box, you can look at it. It's going to have a crisscross part, and you don't want to mess the crisscross part. I always say, take it, look at it, put the hygiene cap. It's going to come with a hygiene cap. Put the hygiene cap on and put the wig on your head. Determine if this wig has potential to be what you want it to be. If it does, then you can mess with it and do anything that you want to it. If not, put the net back on it, put it in the box, use that return shipping label from Paula Young, and send it back. And then you can also email customer service, give them your order number so they know it's coming. You could do an exchange, those sorts of things. Mhm.
Well, that's great. That's good to know, and so there's really no risk in checking
And
it
they
out?
do have swatches. You can order free swatches so
Oh,
that you can
nice.
see like
Color.
maybe some of the different blondes or some of the different brunettes or but sometimes the swatch is hard to tell because it's just a little tiny
Yeah.
swath of hair. So I do think it's good to watch videos. I try to show views when I do reviews of wigs outside as well as inside because a wig can look different in different lighting and on different faces. It's going to probably look longer on the model in the catalog because she's tiny, and it's going to look a little shorter on me. So, taking those things into consideration that it may look different on each person.
And as I'm looking at you, there's wigs behind you. So I know a lot of people would think, okay, there would be brown and red and blonde and black, but that is not the case. There are so many variations.
Oh, there's so many. This is a new one that I'll be reviewing. This one will be coming out on Friday this week, which I don't know when we're going to be
It
on,
will
but
already be out. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's really pretty.
so this one is called Parisian Blonde, and it has just a little bit of a root, which really helps make it look natural. And like I can show you a basic cap. So you can see here, so
Okay.
it just has that soft felt. We have the felt ear tabs. There's a little stay in the ear tab. And then there is an extended nape. There's a Velcro adjuster, so you can adjust it an inch either way. And I really like the colors with the rooting because I think if you don't have a lace part or a lace front, I think that makes it look so natural.
So there's 2 words that I wanted to bring up too, is rooted is one of them. That's a word that a lot of people say, and what does that mean?
So, like you can see the one that I'm wearing, it has a dark root. So, if you imagine your bio hair and it's growing, many times we go to the salon and we get our hair colored, but our roots are darker. And so what's growing out, our regrowth is darker. So I feel like the rooting makes it look more natural. Now, not all wigs have rooting. I have this one. This one is a captivating color where it's a little bit darker on the bottom
Yeah.
than it is on the top. But this one has a lace front, so I don't know if you can kind of see
Yeah,
how
and
it just.
what's the name of that one?
This one is Heidi. This is in the color Honey. And this one, so that's what I do. I hang them upside down by the nape. So just because it's been sitting in a box and I want it to breathe and I want the fibers to loosen away from the cap because I'm going to be wearing this to my niece's wedding.
Oh, fun. And then the other word is permatease. I hear that on wig
Okay.
videos.
Yeah. And I don't know if I have one to show you. Um, if you can really see or not, but essentially inside the cap or on the outside of the cap, there's short hair. So there's wefting, but then there's short hairs or extra fibers, I should say. And that is going to give it lift and volume. So, unlike your own hair, in order to get lift and volume, you'd have to back comb it right and hairspray it. But with a wig, you can kind of get right in there where you can feel some of that permatease and just kind of give it a little lift and it's going to stay. So it just helps keep the shape of the wig, which I love it. Some people like today, I want to say like the age group, like my youngest daughter is 25. They like it their hair parted down the middle, straight, flat, long. So for them, they might not like permatease, but like my daughters love wigs, but they want one with more of those more expensive features. For me, I like a little bit of volume. I like a little bit of lift. So give me a little bit of permatease.
I like a little bit of lift too. I don't like it, but my husband used to like my hair just flat. I cannot. I just can't.
Oh, I can't.
People look
Yeah,
beautiful. Young people look beautiful, but it's not. Yeah, it's not my thing.
right, right. That's not my comfort zone to just have
There you
like
go.
straight flat.
That's exactly right. Oh my gosh. So before we go, is there anything else you think people should know?
Oh my gosh. Have fun. I try to portray that. And the other thing I want you to know is if you're on the fence and you're worried about what people will say, I look at it as it's jewelry. It's jewelry for your head. It's just an extension of your accessories to put it all together. And you want to present this package to the world and you want to feel good about yourself. Just do it. Nobody's looking. Nobody pays that much of attention. I wore wigs for 2 years and people at work did not know I was wearing a wig. And I would wear different styles and different colors. And they're really kind of clueless. I get compliments. I get compliments on my hair. I get compliments on my color, but I might get compliments on my curls if I'm wearing a curly wig. But honestly, people do not pay that close of attention. They're really not looking. So I say if you're on the fence, baby steps, maybe just put the wig on and go to the drive-through. That's pretty safe. You don't know anybody at the drive-through, right? Just the cashier and the person who's handing you your food. And how did that go? And look at them and smile at them. And they'll probably smile back at you and say thank you, but they're not going to give you any weird looks or they're not going to say, oh my gosh, are you wearing a wig? They're not going to do it. They're just not going to do it. And have fun with it. That's the other thing. Sit down, allow yourself time to play around and to have fun. And I call it like self care. It truly is self care. And that's really important. And feel good about yourself. We all need a little boost in our mental health. So wigs do that for me. They give me that boost and to feel good about myself. And I want to help others feel good about themselves.
So, and I'm gonna put your channel links and everything. If anyone has any questions, and you go live, so people can ask you questions
Yes.
live on your
Yes,
channel.
I do mostly YouTube, but I am also on Instagram. And it's just me, myself, and I'm just a one woman show here. And so I don't have anybody else helping me. So as I have time, I work full time. I'm a full time mom to my grandson. So yeah, so it's a challenge. Life can be challenging to find the balance, but this is so worth it. And I love doing it and I love sharing it.
Yeah.
It's
And
so much fun.
you're doing a phenomenal job. So thank you. And thank you for sharing this hour with me. It's been a whole Etsy. It's been longer than I thought, but it was so worth it. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, Jen. It's been really fun.
It has been great.